the end of October 2011, Earth celebrated the entrance of its 7 billionth member. Now, while 7 billion really is a really big number, Earth's population actually provides powerful evidence for a young Earth. Jacques Cousteau actually suggested that the solution to ending human suffering and disease in the world was to limit human population. He said to the UNESCO Courier, "It's terrible to say this. World population must be stabilized, and in order to do that we must eliminate 350,000 people per day." This is so horrible to contemplate that we shouldn't even say it, but the general situation in which we are involved is lamentable. Okay, Jacques, you first. What an incredibly stupid thing to say! What lamentable situation is it that we find ourselves in, pray tell? Apparently Jacques thought the world was overpopulated, to which I can only reply, he needs to get out of the house and travel the world some more. He's obviously never been to places like Ontario. Or Manitoba. Or Saskatchewan. Or Alberta. Or British Columbia. Or Texas, North Dakota, Montana, Colorado, Wyoming, New Mexico, Arizona, Washington. In fact, apparently he hasn't visited much land at all, because we got plenty of land to go around for the population of Earth. Let me make a few comparisons for you. According to the U.S. national debt clock, the U.S. debt presently is running around the $15 trillion mark. Now, the average US dollar bill is 4.3 thousandths of an inch thick. So if we were to take all those dollar bills and stack them up on top of each other, we would get roughly $232.56 per inch of stack of dollar bills. So the US national debt in printed $1 bills stacked on top of one another would be 64,500,000,000 inches high, or 5,375,000,000 feet, or 1,017,992 miles. Or the distance to the moon and back twice over. Now, if we took every single person on planet Earth and had them hold hands around the Earth, we'd have a big circle of people holding hands around the Earth. But if we took every single one of those 7 billion people and gave them 1 square meter to stand in and put them all together, we would have a square filled with people roughly 84 kilometers in breadth and width. Not only is it incredibly dumb to suggest that Earth has an overpopulation problem, this is very telling about the age of the human population. You see, according to the scriptures, the human race suffered a mass extinction roughly 4,500 years ago, the time of Noah's flood, when all of Earth's population was reduced to a mere 8 people. You see, starting with a population of 8 people, we can accumulate 7 billion people in 4,500 years with a population growth of 0.46%. Now, considering in 2009 the CIA World Factbook gave a general population growth of planet Earth as 1.092%, then our 0.46% growth rate is actually quite conservative. But wait, according to the evolutionary timeline on the ever-so-reliable Wikipedia, the human race has been around for at least 200,000 years. So if we use our very conservative growth rate of 0.46%, starting off with 1 couple 200,000 years ago, Earth's population should be upwards around 4.312 times 10 to the power of 398, or 4 followed by 398 zeros. Now, if we were to take that number in dollar bills stacked on top of each other, its length really would be beyond comprehension. Nobody really knows how big the universe is, but present estimates is that it's at least 156 billion light years wide. Writing that out in miles, and compared to what the population of Earth should be if the population is 200,000 years old, you can see that there's just no comparison. Needless to say, the evidence supports an incredibly young population of Earth, probably on the order of 40 to 50 times younger than the evolutionary estimates at least. Now, some evolutionary skeptics will object and point to bacteria, which can overpopulate an area in the space of hours. But of course, their population is limited due to food and space. And so, the human population will also be limited by food and space. Hello, Stanley! That's just my point. Even with a population of 7 billion people, we still haven't even scratched the surface of the limitations of food and space on planet Earth. There is no reason at all to assume a smaller population growth rate in the past, except for those who desperately want to save the deep time and millions of years that evolution needs. You can see this fudge factoring going on the ever so reliable Wikipedia when you take a look at their page on human population growth. When you look at their charts, you can see that they only extrapolate human population growth back to about 10,000 years ago. It flatlines around 5,000 years ago. That's right, according to Wikipedia, human population growth was 0 for about 195,000 years. That's not science, that's wishful thinking. Oh, what the heck, let's use their numbers. Let's assume an average population of 4 million people over 195,000 years. Now, let's also assume that the average lifespan was 30 years, which was typical until the early 1900s. So every 30 years, the population gets replaced. Over 195,000 years, that works out to 26 billion people who lived on planet Earth. Now, during this time, presumably people were burying their dead. In fact, we find graves of human burials dated by evolutionary timescale as 130,000 years old. So obviously, people were burying their dead. Where are all the graves from these 26 billion people? That's an average of 168 bodies for every square kilometer of dry land available on planet Earth. That dry land, which also includes the mountains, canyons, bedrock, and other areas where nobody in their right mind would bury a dead body. There is no evidence of millions of years of evolution. Yet, the observed evidence fits well within the biblical history of Earth. Now, there is one grave that's empty. The body is still gone, the grave of Jesus Christ, who rose from the dead to show those who follow him that he is the way, the truth, and the life. Who are you following today? Are they showing you the way, the truth, and the life? All you have to do today is call upon Jesus Christ, and he will show you the way, the truth, and the life.